I never believed in ghosts, or demons, or anything supernatural. At least, not until the fall of 2019. Back then, I worked for a surveying company. My job was simple: travel to remote locations, verify geographic data, and update maps. Most assignments were boring. Long drives, empty roads, small, forgotten towns. Nothing unusual. But the job that changed my life forever started with what seemed like a simple mistake. One rainy morning, my project manager dropped a folder onto my desk. He pointed at a set of coordinates and said, "Something's wrong with this location. The data doesn't match any of our maps. Go take a look." That was it. Just another assignment. Or so I thought. 2 days later, I packed my equipment and headed out. The coordinates led deep into a mountainous region. The nearest town was almost 20 miles away. The farther I drove, the worse the weather became. A thick fog rolled across the road. The sky turned gray, and my phone signal slowly disappeared. One bar, then none. By late afternoon, I reached the area. According to my GPS, the target location was still about a mile ahead. The road ended at a narrow dirt path. I parked my truck, grabbed my gear, and continued on foot. The fog had become so dense, I could barely see more than 30 feet ahead. The world felt strangely quiet. No birds, no insects, no wind, nothing. Just silence. The kind of silence that makes you aware of every breath you take. After about 20 minutes of walking, I arrived at the coordinates, and that's when I saw it. A house. An old wooden house, 2 stories tall, dark, weathered, standing completely alone in the middle of nowhere. I stopped walking, because according to every map we had, that house shouldn't have existed. I checked the GPS again. The coordinates were correct. I looked back at the screen, and back at the house. Same result. The structure was real, but somehow it wasn't on any record. Not a single map, not a single satellite image, nothing. I told myself there had to be a logical explanation. Maybe an abandoned property, maybe old records had been lost, maybe someone had built it illegally. But the moment I got closer, I noticed something that immediately made me uncomfortable. Footprints, fresh footprints, in the mud. They led directly to the front door. I crouched down to examine them. The rain hadn't washed them away, meaning they were recent, very recent. Someone had been here, maybe only minutes before I arrived. But there was something strange about them. The footprints only went one way, toward the house. None came back out. I scanned the area. No vehicles, no lights, no movement. Just the house, waiting. I don't know why, but a chill ran down my spine. I walked up to the porch. The wooden boards creaked beneath my boots. I knocked on the front door. Once, twice, 3 times. No answer. I waited. Nothing. Then I tried the handle. The door slowly swung open. The moment it did, a cold, damp smell drifted out from inside. Old wood, mold, moisture, like a place that had been sealed for decades. I switched on my flashlight and stepped inside. The interior was surprisingly clean, not spotless, but cleaner than it should have been. The main room was almost empty. A table, 2 chairs, and an old wall clock. At first, I didn't notice anything unusual. Then I heard it. Tick. Tock. Tick. Tock. The clock was running. I stared at it. The hands were moving, slowly, steadily.
As if someone had wound it recently. But that made no sense. The house looked abandoned. Yet the clock was alive. And somehow, that bothered me more than anything else. I continued searching the room. That's when I found the notebook. It was sitting on the table, a worn leather notebook, covered in dust. I opened it and immediately saw a single sentence written across the first page. If you're reading this, you still have time to leave. I laughed. Honestly, I thought it was a joke, some kind of prank. Maybe teenagers had discovered the place. Maybe someone was trying to scare trespassers. I turned to the next page. The handwriting changed. The entry was dated and signed by a man named Daniel. The first line read, "Day 3. The house won't let me leave." My smile disappeared. I read the sentence again, then a third time. Something about it felt wrong. Not because of what it said, but because the writing looked desperate, rushed, shaky, like someone had written it while terrified. I kept reading. And that's when I heard it. A sound from upstairs. A single footstep. Slow. Heavy. Directly above me. I froze. The sound came again. Another step. Then another. Someone was walking across the second floor. Very slowly. Very deliberately. The house had looked empty. The front door had been unlocked. There were no vehicles outside, no signs of anyone living there, and yet someone was upstairs, moving, listening, waiting. The footsteps stopped, right above my head. For a moment, everything became silent again. Then came another sound, a long scraping noise, like something massive being dragged across the floor. Grr. Slowly, painfully, across old wooden boards. The sound echoed through the entire house, and then it suddenly stopped. Silence. Complete silence. I looked toward the staircase. The darkness above seemed deeper now, almost alive. And for reasons I still can't explain, I had the overwhelming feeling that whatever was upstairs already knew I was there.